She used to believe that money was something other people understood and she never would. She used to believe that abundance was reserved for the lucky, the educated, the well-connected, never for someone like her. And then, one quiet afternoon, she discovered a single idea that would change the course of her life forever. The universe does not respond to effort alone. It responds to frequency. Somewhere right now, a person is sitting exactly where she once sat, frustrated, tired, wondering why the bills keep piling up while their dreams keep slipping further away. They have tried discipline. They have tried hustle. They have tried every budgeting app and side hustle the internet has suggested. And still, something invisible keeps blocking the flow. What if the block was never about money at all? What if it was about vibration? Louise Hay taught that every thought is a frequency, and every frequency attracts its match. The mind that whispers, "I am not enough," cannot, by the laws of energy, attract more than enough. The heart that clenches in fear of lack cannot open wide enough to receive abundance. This is not punishment, it is physics. Like attracts like. Energy mirrors energy. And the moment a person shifts their inner frequency to match wealth, wealth begins, almost mysteriously, to find its way back to them. This video is not another lecture about saving more or working harder. It is an invitation, a 5-minute reset for the soul, designed to interrupt the old story of scarcity and replace it with the vibration of true prosperity. Some call it luck. Some call it manifestation. Louise Hay simply called it remembering who you really are. So settle in. Breathe deeply. Let the noise of the outside world fade, just for these next few minutes. Because what is about to be shared is more than information, it is activation. And by the end, something inside will already feel lighter, freer, and infinitely more open to receiving. Welcome back to the Louise Hay Manifest channel, a space built for those who are ready to stop chasing money and start becoming a magnet for it. If this is the first time joining, know that everything shared here is rooted in one timeless truth that Louise Hay devoted her life to teaching: the outer world is simply a reflection of the inner one. Change the thought, change the feeling, change the frequency, and the outer reality eventually has no choice but to follow. Today's focus is wealth. Not wealth as a number in a bank account, but wealth as a state of being, a frequency that can be felt, practiced, and ultimately embodied. So many people spend years trying to fix their finances from the outside in: more hours, more hustle, more sacrifice. And yet Louise Hay would gently remind us that no amount of outer effort can override an inner belief in lack. If the subconscious mind is still whispering, "Money is hard to come by," or "I don't deserve more," then even the hardest work will hit an invisible ceiling. This is why the next several minutes matter so much. What follows is not a motivational pep talk meant to be forgotten by tomorrow. It is a structured journey through 7 distinct chapters, each one designed to dismantle a specific block to abundance and replace it with affirmations and frequencies that align with true prosperity. Some chapters will feel like gentle permission. Others will feel like a mirror, reflecting old patterns that are finally ready to be released. All of them are designed to work together, building layer upon layer until the nervous system itself begins to recognize wealth as safe, natural, and deserved. There is no need to do anything other than listen, breathe, and allow. Louise Hay often said that the simplest moment of self-love can outweigh years of self-criticism. So there's no pressure to get it right. There is only the invitation to receive. By the end of this video, the goal is simple: to leave with a nervous system that feels calmer around money, a mind that has rehearsed new beliefs about abundance, and a heart that finally feels worthy of the wealth it has been asking for all along. Let this be the moment the old story ends and a new one begins. The truth about wealth and frequency. Wealth is not something chased, it is something attracted. The moment this is truly understood, the entire relationship with money begins to shift. Money is energy, nothing more and nothing less. It moves toward whatever vibration matches its own expansion, ease, and trust. A person who constantly says, "I can't afford it," trains their mind to find evidence of lack everywhere they look. At a person who instead asks, "How can I afford this?" opens the mind to creative solutions that were previously invisible. Louise Hay's teaching reminds us that the subconscious does not distinguish between a real lack and a perceived one. Both feel identical to the nervous system. This is why two people with the same income can have completely different financial realities. One feels safe and expansive, the other feels suffocated and small. Frequency is not mystical or abstract, it is simply the emotional tone behind every thought repeated often enough to become belief. Wealthy frequency feels like ease, gratitude, and quiet confidence, not desperation, urgency, or grasping. The first step to attracting abundance is recognizing the current frequency being broadcast, without judgment, simply as honest observation. From this place of awareness, change becomes possible because what is seen clearly can finally be shifted intentionally. Releasing the belief in lack. Most beliefs about money were never chosen consciously. They were absorbed in childhood, long before logic could question them. A household where money was a source of stress often raises an adult who unconsciously associates money with anxiety. The mind repeats what it was taught until it is taught something new. Repetition is the language the subconscious understands. Louise Hay often invited people to ask, whose voice is this belief really in? Often it is a parent's fear, not a personal truth. Saying, "I release the belief that there is not enough," begins to loosen the grip of inherited scarcity programming. The body holds old fear in the form of tension, especially around the chest and stomach areas linked to safety and self-worth. Breathing deeply while repeating a new belief helps the body register safety, not just the mind. Lack is not a fact of reality, it is a story repeated so often it began to feel true. The universe is abundant by nature. Scarcity is a perception, not a universal law. Letting go of lack does not require eliminating every doubt at once, it only requires choosing, again and again, a thought slightly more spacious than the last. I am worthy of wealth. Worthiness is the foundation beneath every act of receiving. Without it, opportunities arrive but somehow slip away. Many people unconsciously sabotage success because deep down they do not yet believe they deserve it. Louise Hay taught that self-love is the root of all healing, including financial healing. A person who criticizes themselves daily sends a frequency of not enough, which the universe simply mirrors back as lack. Standing before a mirror and saying, "I am worthy of wealth and ease," may feel uncomfortable at first. Discomfort is simply the old belief resisting change. Worthiness is not earned through suffering or struggle, it is recognized as a birthright already present. The more a person treats themselves with patience and kindness, the more naturally money begins to feel welcome in their life. Old guilt around wanting more dissolves when desire is reframed as part of personal growth, not greed. Wanting financial freedom is not selfish, it allows more generosity, more presence, and more contribution to others. Worthiness, once truly felt in the body, removes the invisible ceiling that effort alone could never break through. Forgiving the past around money. Every unresolved money wound from the past quietly shapes financial decisions in the present. A failed business, a financial betrayal, or years of struggle can leave behind invisible armor that blocks new abundance. Louise Hay taught that resentment, including resentment toward money itself, keeps a person tied to the very pain they wish to release. Forgiveness does not mean approval of what happened, it means freeing the energy that situation still holds. Saying, "I forgive myself for past financial mistakes," interrupts years of silent shame. Shame around debt or past losses often keeps people stuck, repeating the same patterns out of fear rather than choice. The past cannot be changed, but the meaning given to it can be, and meaning is what shapes the future. Each act of forgiveness, even small, lightens the emotional weight that the body has been carrying for years. Money itself is neutral, it is only the stories layered onto it that turned it into a source of pain. Letting go of old financial wounds creates space for an entirely new relationship with prosperity to begin. Aligning thoughts with abundance. Thoughts repeated consistently become the lens through which reality is interpreted. A mind trained to notice scarcity will always find it, even in moments of objective abundance. A mind trained to notice abundance will find evidence of it everywhere: small gifts, unexpected savings, opportunities arriving with ease. Louise Hay encouraged the practice of affirmations not as magic words, but as gentle retraining of attention. Saying, "Money flows to me easily and frequently," interrupts the old, tighter thought patterns around effort and struggle. Each time a fearful thought about money arises, it can simply be noticed, then gently redirected toward a more spacious one. This is not about denial of bills or responsibilities, it is about choosing the emotional tone in which those responsibilities are met. Calm handling of finances attracts more calm, panicked handling of finances attracts more chaos. The goal is not perfection of thought, but consistency, small course corrections, repeated daily. Over time, the aligned mind naturally begins to notice and create more opportunities for wealth. Gratitude as a wealth magnet. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to shift frequency because it focuses attention on what is already present. A mind in true gratitude cannot simultaneously sit in lack. The two states do not coexist. Louise Hay often spoke of blessing what is already owned, however small, as the doorway to receiving more. Saying, "Thank you" for the money already flowing in a paycheck, a gift, a refund sends a signal of welcome to more. Resentment toward bills paid can be replaced with gratitude for the services and comforts they represent. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect, it is about appreciating the good that exists alongside the challenges. A daily list of 3 financial blessings, however small, retrains the brain to notice abundance rather than scarcity. The feeling of gratitude in the body, warmth, openness, ease is itself the wealth frequency being practiced. What is appreciated tends to appreciate, expanding naturally over time. Gratitude turns "not enough" into "more than enough," shifting the entire emotional foundation beneath money. Living as the wealthy self. True transformation happens when a person begins to think, speak, and act as the version of themselves who already lives in abundance. This is not about pretending or lying to oneself, it is about practicing the identity before the evidence fully arrives. Louise Hay taught that the mirror is a powerful tool. Looking into one's own eyes and affirming worthiness rewires deep self-perception. The wealthy self speaks calmly about money, neither boasting nor apologizing for wanting more. The wealthy self makes decisions from trust rather than fear, even when the bank account does not yet reflect that trust. Small daily actions, paying bills with appreciation, saving with intention, spending with awareness, reinforce this new identity. Old friends or family members may not understand the shift at first, that is simply part of outgrowing an old frequency. Patience is essential, because the outer world often takes time to catch up with an inner transformation that has already happened. Every day lived from this aligned identity makes the next day of abundance easier to recognize and receive. Over time, the wealthy self is no longer an aspiration, it becomes simply who the person is. Take one more deep breath. Notice, even now, that something inside feels different than it did at the very beginning of this video. That shift is not imagination, it is the beginning of a new frequency settling into place. Louise Hay spent her life reminding people that transformation rarely arrives as a dramatic lightning bolt, it arrives quietly, through repetition, gentleness, and the willingness to choose a new thought again and again until it becomes belief. Wealth, true wealth, was never about chasing harder or hustling longer. It was always about returning home to a frequency of worthiness, trust, and ease, and allowing the outer world to rearrange itself around that new inner truth. Every affirmation spoken today, every old belief gently released, every moment of forgiveness and gratitude practiced, has planted a seed. Some seeds bloom quickly. Others take a little more time, patience, and consistent care. Either way, the soil has already changed. If this video brought even a small shift, a breath of relief, a flicker of hope, a softening around old financial fears, that is worth honoring. Consider returning to it tomorrow, and the day after, allowing these words to become a daily ritual rather than a single moment. Subscribe to the Louise Hay Manifest channel for more journeys like this one, share it with someone who may need this shift today, and most importantly, carry this frequency forward into the rest of the day. Abundance is not something to wait for. It is something to become. And that becoming has already begun.